Liz.
Hello.
Hi. So you had your son at the age of, I think, 40.
No, 39.
39, almost 40. Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the circumstances around it? Like, did you plan it to be at 39, and what were your plans?
Yeah, actually, I would say throughout my whole life, I never really thought about having kids. And even at the time when I was married, when I got married in 2018, I was in my already mid-30s. Like, it didn't really occur to us to have kids. It wasn't just something that was on both of our minds. I mean, but of course, being a woman, at that age, you have to start thinking pretty quick, is it something you guys are going to do or not, because you don't have so much time. So when we did think about having kids, I was pushing already at, like, I would say 37, 38 already. And at that time, there was no stress or anything. And I think it literally took, amazingly enough, because of my age, it only took like 1 month and I got pregnant.
Wow, that's super fast.
Yeah, it was unexpected too. So I wasn't kind of the motherly type. I wasn't into kids. I didn't, my whole life I've been like traveling, living all over the places, and I had a really easy, free life. And so it didn't occur to me having a kid, and I wasn't really like the kid type. What's it called? Like the motherly internal feeling. Yeah. I never had that until I had my own, and now I just love kids and babies.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing what happens when you turn into a mom yourself. Yeah.
Right. And did you feel any pressure to have kids?
Yeah, a little bit from my mom, but it wasn't a lot of pressure. It was just, she would just mention it once in a while, of course. But, I didn't even get married until I was like much later in life too. So it wasn't such a big thing for me or my family, I guess.
I know that after 35, you're already like treated differently by doctors. They ask you to do additional checkups, and you're expected to have, I don't know, some sort of complications. Did you feel any of that? Did you have any concerns?
Yeah, no, I was really, I'm knock on wood, just in case if I have another child, which is going to be crazy because then I'll be like 42. But throughout my whole pregnancy, everything was fine at that age. I was doing Zumba up to like the 5th or 6th month of my pregnancy. And if anyone knows what Zumba is, it's like a pretty chaotic, fast type of
dance?
Yeah, dancing. So I was pretty fit, I guess. Yeah. And I didn't have all those typical pregnant symptoms, like the morning sickness or like...
None?
Not really. If I had it, it might have been throughout the whole pregnancy, maybe like 2 or 3 times. So in that aspect, I was pretty lucky. And what else? Like all the normal symptoms, I didn't really get. So it was, overall, the whole thing was pretty well for me. I did take the epidural during the time of labor, and that was fine. Yeah, so I would do it again. Wow. If I can, if my eggs still function, I would do it again.
Did you give birth in Berlin, or?
Yeah, in Berlin. Yeah.
And how did the preparation go? How to go to the hospital?
Yeah, funny enough, I live like only 10 minutes from the charity, and so my husband and I, we just walked there when I was in labor, and then because it wasn't like crazy, like it wasn't in like in the movies or anything where I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna.
How did you know that you should go to a hospital?
Because I was in a lot of pain. But well enough to the point.
The contractions.
Yeah, the contractions were coming in and they were pretty strong, but not to the point where it was like movie style. So I was still able to walk to the hospital, which is not far from here, like only 10 minutes. So I walked there with my husband. And when we got there, funny enough, the nurse was like, yeah, you're not dilated enough, so why don't you just go take a walk and then come back, and then you'll probably be ready by then. I'm like, okay, where are we gonna go? I mean, this was in October, so it's pretty cold at this time. So funny enough, we walked back here to my house, and then I'm like, okay, the pain is here. It's coming again, and it's strong. So we walked back to the hospital, and I think about an hour later, I was in the operating room. Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, you were still not dilated enough to give birth, or?
The first nurse that I went to see, she said I wasn't, but it was very strange because I felt like, oh my God, I don't know. I mean, I've never had a baby before, but I felt like I'm ready, like it's coming. But she said I wasn't. So hence,
were they contractions or pushy? Kind of like a pushy feeling that this
kind of both.
Really?
But like as it was my first pregnancy, I don't know what to expect or feel. So
and the interval was at that point when you got to the hospital the second time.
Sorry, what was
the interval between contractions?
Yeah. The contractions were like every 15-20 minutes, I believe, and they were getting stronger each time. So I knew by the second time that we went back to the hospital, I know it was like, I'm pretty sure that she can't send me to go for a walk again because he's coming. He's coming, pretty much.
And your water broke?
No, it didn't actually. They had to break it for me. They had to use a scalper. It was kind of traumatizing.
Did they actually ask you, like, can we do that?
No, they don't ask you. They pretty much do it. They tell you they're going to do it.
Yeah, in my case, it was different.
Yeah.
They actually asked me if I want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I guess different hospitals have different approach. Okay, so you said they use scalpel, like.
Yeah, it was really traumatizing. I'm like, oh my God.
How did you know?
They told me they were going to do it because my water didn't break automatically or on its own. So they basically told me that they have to do it. So they're going to do it. I mean, but of course I was.
They use, like, I had no idea what they use.
Yeah.
I mean, my water was broken twice, right? Like I gave birth both times. They had to break my water, but I had actually no idea that they were using scalpel, and it was very quick. And
yeah, it was really quick and painless only because I was on the drugs.
But because of the idea.
Yeah.
That oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was really quick and painless.
Yeah.
So
and then they had to break your water after applying the epidural.
Yeah.
Injection. Okay, and why did you decide to go for epidural?
Because I have no pain tolerance.
So you already planned it, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I never ever was one of those people who was against it. I was like, when the time comes, give me whatever it takes, take the pain away. So yeah, it was already planned, and I was ready for it. I had to do it twice, by the way, because the first time I felt like it wasn't strong enough, and normally they don't give you two because it's very, very strong drug. So they're like, are you sure? And they were very hesitant, and I'm like, this isn't working, please give me another one. And they decided, I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm not a nurse or anything, but I don't know if they decided to give me another full one or maybe another half shot. But nevertheless, I had maybe 1.5 or 2 shots.
And then you just stopped feeling any pain?
Yes, yeah.
What did you feel anything, like tension, some sort of, people say they feel some sort of tension in their body. They sort of know that it's there, but they just cannot feel it.
Yeah, no, I didn't really feel too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were sort of calm and, you know.
Yeah. It was good for me. Like now that I think of it, like I can't imagine doing it any other way without it. Like the pain was, I always tell my husband this, it's really funny, but I always say it was like the worst, the contractions is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Like there's nothing that I've went through in my whole 39 years of life at that time was more painful than these contractions. I don't know what they were, but it was like something terrible.
Yeah, I agree. It's both emotionally and physically traumatizing for women.
Yeah.
Since I never had epidural, so I'm super curious about like how this whole process works.
So they can't give it to you at certain stages. It has to be the exact moment.
Okay.
You can't have it too early and you can't have it too late.
So when?
So I can't tell you exactly when because I'm not a medical expert.
But
for me, I'll say it in amateur style. For me, I know I was dilated probably I don't know exactly, I can't tell you the exact amount, but it was dilated a certain amount where they can admit it to me. So at that point, you have to make a decision really quick. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through with the natural process, right? Because what happens with the epidural is also towards the end of it, you have to, the drug has to wear off enough where you can push yourself naturally as well. I don't know if you know about that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not throughout the whole process. The epidural doesn't work like that. Towards the end, maybe like like half of the, like when the baby is almost coming out, like the head and the crown and everything is like appearing, then at that point, I believe that's when the drug needs to sort of wear out and you have to actually naturally push it out yourself.
Doctors
so that's why
have to be super specific in the
with the
dosage.
timing. Yeah, the dosage and the timing as well. The timing is the most important aspect of the whole epidural. So like I said, they can't give it to you just anytime. So it has to be a specific process of how long you've been dilated for and how much, and then yeah, that's when they can, I guess, give it to you. Yeah. Also, I should add, when you're on this epidural, as it's a major strong drug, you're kind of zoned out. You're stoned, basically.
Okay.
You're stoned,
Really?
right?
Okay.
So half of it, I was not intact. I'm struggling to keep awake because it's a very strong drug. This is why a lot of people don't want it too, right? So especially for me, when I did 1.5 or 2 doses, which is not normal for a person my size too, right? So at that point, I was a little bit fuzzy. I was kind of awake, but not. I could feel the pain a little bit still. But so the whole kind of thing was a little bit foggy to me, except to the point where when my boy was really crowning. And that's when the epidural, because this whole process, mind you, it's like, it could last for like 2 or 3 hours, right?
Oh, okay.
And this is why the drug, that's why I asked for another one, by the way, because the first one, I felt like it was wearing out. And I could feel the contractions again after it wears out. Like the whole process was just taking too long. It was already like maybe, I don't even know, maybe it was like on the 3rd or 4th hour. I was such in fuzz. I could ask my husband, he would know better. The baby wasn't coming out. So he wasn't breached or anything. Everything was fine. It's just that he wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
So then I got the second shot. And what the amount of the dose, I have no idea. So I had to wait again until the contractions came. And the drug had to be enough where I could kind of feel the contractions, because I need to push at a certain stage with the rhythm of the contractions, as you know, right?
Yeah.
It has to follow it. So, yeah.
So how did you know when to push?
The doctor would tell me each time.
Oh,
the nurses.
interesting. How do they know?
I don't know, but they know. They're awesome. They were so cool. They know. Maybe it was the amount that I was screaming, but they knew. Every few minutes, they'd be like, okay, now, do it. And then I had to push. And then it's probably the amount that I was screaming and just going nuts. They just knew when to tell me, okay, it's time to push again. Push, try, now. And then the break. A little break. And then again. So until...
You didn't feel like yourself when you need...
Kind of I did, because then the second dose was a little bit wearing off again.
Oh,
so I could kind of feel when to do it.
Yeah.
But the nurses were like super awesome. They knew, and they just told me each time when to do it. Yeah.
Did you have to get any stitches or...
Nope, because I was prepared about that part.
How did you prepare?
I was well prepared because I watched so many YouTube videos on pregnancy and labor and all that stuff. I knew that I had to have some oils with me and prepare myself and lube up.
Yeah.
And you know what? It works. So
it
works.
It does,
the lubing for natural birth, for me anyways. It's not going to work for everyone. If your baby has a big head, it's not going to work. But
when did you start? When is it?
When did I put...
Yeah. I mean, isn't it something that you have to do regularly?
Yeah. So they did apply it every maybe few hours, but they did apply it for me.
Oh, that day. You didn't do before?
No, because like there's so many hours. The oil would just wear off, you know? I mean,
so you asked for that?
yeah, and they did it for me.
And if you don't ask, you're not given that.
You could provide the oil, but they also have it. And for me, I just used, I just brought my own coconut oil.
Oh, you can use coconut oil.
Yeah, well, for me, that's what I brought. And they have their, whatever they use at the hospital too. So they're aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was enough doing it on the same day of birthday. Okay. Obviously, you had your son on your chest and you spent some time before being moved to a room. And how did the whole breastfeeding and lactation period go?
Yeah, I mean, I was at a really, really beautiful hospital. Like, I highly recommend it. So the whole experience was really nice. And at that time, I spoke like zero German. I mean, I don't speak very much German as of now, but a lot more than what I spoke 3 years ago, or two and a half years ago. So the whole experience was really good. There was a lot of English-speaking workers there. The hospitals was really, really modern and clean, and yeah, the whole experience was really good. In terms of breastfeeding, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think a lot of new moms know what they're doing in terms of breastfeeding. There was what is it called? Lactating
experts or?
Yeah. Somebody came and talked to me about how to do breastfeeding.
From the hospital?
Yeah, from the hospital. They came up to my room and they showed me and everything.
Okay.
But despite all of that, I didn't know what to do after when she left. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
The latching?
Yeah. Like, she showed me everything, and like, yeah, I just didn't catch on very easily because it was just so strange to me. It was really foreign. I know it's normally for a lot of mothers it should come naturally, right? But it just didn't for me. So it felt weird. I didn't know how to position him properly and stuff. It didn't feel natural the way I was doing it. But yeah, good thing my son's like, I always call
figured it out himself.
Yeah, my son is a milk monster. I always call him a milk monster. So he's able to find his way no matter what, right? To get his source of milk.
Yeah.
So he helped me a lot, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Did you have any baby blues or did you experience any kind of mood swings?
Like before or after?
After giving birth, yeah.
After?
Yes.
Not really, no. My mom was here from Canada. That made things a lot easier, but I didn't go through any sort of depression, no.
Were there any things that you had no idea about, like, despite the research that you've done?
Yeah, about the blood that comes gushing out of you for like what felt like months. Maybe it was just weeks. Yeah. Maybe it was just days, but because it was so much of it.
Yeah, in my case it was like a couple of days, maybe like maximum week. But it was right after giving birth.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not aware of that. I mean, the hospital gave me these really gigantic, thick pads, and I didn't know what they were for, and I didn't get it. But then I got it.
Yeah.
I got it pretty quick after. I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's for.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if you had the same feeling, like for your first one, when you had your first child, you just bring them home, and you're like, okay, now what? I have a baby. What do I do? It was kind of like a really strange feeling because you've never in your whole life lived with a baby, and then all of a sudden you bring this baby home and you're like, okay, I have to feed her, I gotta change him. Like, I don't know what to do with the baby. I guess I had that kind of weird epiphany, I would say. Yeah. I mean, it only lasted for like a few weeks, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a full-on mom now. I get it now.
Yeah.
But the first few days, my husband and I were like, okay, this is weird. There's a baby. He's crying. We have to feed him.
Yeah. How fast was the recovery postpartum?
I think it was the second month, because I remember I cherished that moment. I was like, this is wonderful. I don't have my period. I hope this lasts forever.
Yeah.
But no, it came back.
Yeah.
That was the other thing, actually, that I was not told about, that I was not aware about.
About what?
The period, it stopped for some time after having the baby. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that my period would just kind of fade away for, I think it was 2 months. I don't remember now. Maybe it was 2 months. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was 2 months that I didn't have a period. It could have even been 3 months, actually.
All right. Your son had, you said, like, jaundice? How did you know what it is?
My midwife came by on the second week or yeah, it was the second week or something like that. And she said she noticed he was a little bit yellowish. And I thought, I made a joke, well, he's half Asian, so yeah, he's going to be yellowish. But she's like, no, he's really yellowish. You need to take him to the charity. She kind of made it like it was an emergency. And we're like, what? Really? She's like, it could be really serious. So you need to take him in like tonight or tomorrow maximum. So
you must be scared, like all of a sudden to have urgency like that.
Yeah. So we were not aware. And then we took him right away to the charity. And they said that he was above the level of some threshold. I don't know what it was. And that he needed urgent care. So it was full there at the hospital. So we were transferred to another hospital. And he was put under this, like, it looks like a little suntan bed. It's so cute. It's like this purple, they get put in these little purple cube things. It looks like the best way I can describe it is a suntanning bed, but not a suntanning bed. It's purple inside and it's like a clear basket thing, and they're set in there for like however long it takes for them to get back their natural skin tone, I guess.
Yeah, and then how long did you have to have that treatment for?
I think I was in the hospital with him for 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and then that was it.
Yeah, and then he was fine after.
Okay.
I don't really believe in the fact that it's easier to have kids, like physically I'm talking about, to have kids earlier on in your life, because not just because I had mine quite easily and quick, but because there's a lot of many stories, not just mine, that these days that women are getting pregnant at a later stage in their life, and they're doing it. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be in your 20s anymore to have children. You can still do what you want to do and still proceed with your plans and everything, but just have your kids later. I mean, I believe if you're an older mother and you want to have kids, never give up hope. I mean, it still can happen, and it can still happen relatively easy. There's never I don't think there's never like a bad time to think about it, so. Let me think, what else was there after? Besides from that major, crazy blood shedding Niagara Falls experience.